Hello and welcome to another video. This one's going to be a fun one. A really good friend of mine, Ben, actually incidentally inspired me to want to do this video. We were chatting the other night, a week or two ago, and talking about just movies in general because that's one of the frequent conversations you'll get when you're around me. And he asked me if there was any movies that I watch every single year. Now, there's a number of movies that I would be willing to watch every year, every few years, multiple times a year, but it was a really good question. I thought we had a fun discussion on it. And then after that conversation, I was still thinking about it and was like, you know what? That sounds like a fun idea for a video too. So in this one, I'm going to be giving you about a dozen or so movies that I watch every single year for various different reasons. A number of these, as I'm sure you would predict, will revolve around holidays and specific times a year, but there's others that are just random ones that I just love popping on because they're such great movies and I want to enjoy them as often as I can. So sit back, relax, jump down in those comments with me, and let's start talking about our favorite movies to watch every single year. Kicking off my list, we have my personal favorite Christmas movie, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. This is a staple of the holiday season for me. It's an absolutely hilarious movie. It's got great comedy, good drama, funny characters. There's just nothing to not like about this movie. My wife doesn't like it for some reason. It's just not her sense of humor, but I absolutely love it. We grew up watching it as a family every single year around the holidays, and I'm so glad that we got this recent restoration on it as well. I actually haven't had a chance to check out the restoration on it yet, but I definitely will be this year because it's a movie I watch every single year. So really looking forward to checking out the 4K on this one soon, but this is an absolute staple of the Christmas season for many people, including myself. Coming up next on my list, we have Dune. I am going to show Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2 here because they are two parts of the same one single story. These movies are absolutely incredible. I have watched Dune Part 1 every year since it's released. I am seeing obviously Dune Part 2 this year because it came out this year, and I'm already trying to find some time to watch it because it is a longer movie that I definitely want to get a rewatch in on this one sometime soon. So this is just absolutely epic storytelling on every level. Every element of this movie is masterfully crafted and masterfully done. It's a really fantastic, powerful story about so many different themes and messages, and it's a really great adaptation as well. As someone who's a fan of the book and the series of books, I think they did a fantastic job with this one. I can't wait to see where we go in Dune Part 3, but for now, I'm going to keep watching Dune and Dune Part 2 every year. Speaking of Christmas holiday classics, how about a fall holiday classic? This is the movie I use to usher in every single fall. So I'm going to be watching this one very soon as we're very much on the brink of fall kicking off, and that is Fantastic Mr. Fox. This is one of my absolute favorite movies of all time. It's one of my top 10 favorites of all time for a number of years now, and it's just a masterfully crafted stop motion film about a family of foxes and their shenanigans, most specifically Mr. Fox's, and it's just a really pleasant, enjoyable, feel-good movie. Obviously, just as you can see from the cover and all the artwork around this casing here, this is from the Criterion edition. This movie just bleeds the fall season, and it just oozes at every inch of the screen. It's a really good one. It's a really entertaining, fun movie, good for all ages as well, which always makes it definitely a high recommendation coming from me, and it's one of my personal favorites of all time. This movie will, till the end of my days, usher in every fall season. Next, we may not have what's considered a Christmas classic, but this is one for me that I have always enjoyed popping on since it came out. It came out in 2020, so it's been out for a few years now, and this is one I've just really enjoyed popping on every Christmas season. It's called The Fat Man. This is the one with Mel Gibson where he just plays this older, jaded Santa Claus who just is down and out on his luck, and he gives this rich, spoiled brat a lump of coal for Christmas, who then hires a hitman to kill him, and shenanigans ensue. So it's a really fun, just kind of like action Christmas movie if you're looking for something that doesn't have the same holiday cheer that you would traditionally expect in a Christmas movie, but it's got enough there for the action junkies. This is a really entertaining one. It's something different, something unique to put on around the Christmas holidays, and one that has found its way into my Blu-ray player every year since I've gotten it. Next, we have a slight cheat, but one that you'll understand once you see it. We have the recently released movie, The Holdovers. This just came out last year, which is the bit of the cheat with it, that it's only been out for a year, and I watched it last year. So yeah, of course I watch it every year if I've seen it once and it came out last year. But this is one that's just a really great kind of Christmassy, Thanksgiving type movie. Obviously, yes, it takes place around Christmas time, but I think it would fit the entire holiday season. And it's just one of those throwback movies to a time and place that just oozes with nostalgia. Just is, for me personally, really brings those feelings to the surface of the nostalgic New England holiday season, because I am from Connecticut originally. So I love the overall just vibe of the New England Christmas throughout this one. It's a different type of story. It's got a more melancholy tone to it, but it has those elements that really make it, I think, a Christmas classic, and it will be going forward in the years to come. It's one that I definitely plan on continuing to rewatch every year around the holidays. Anyone who's a regular watcher of my content or a friend of mine will know I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan. So you knew the Lord of the Rings trilogy was going to pop up on here at some point. These movies mean more to me than any other movie I've ever seen. They're my absolute favorite movies of all time. And yes, I will admit, I don't always have the chance to watch the entire trilogy every year, but some element or aspect of these movies and Middle-earth is on my screens at least once a year. I absolutely adore the story of these movies, the characters of them, the writing in the original works of J.R.R. Tolkien are incredible. The Lord of the Rings is one of my absolute favorite things. So you know Lord of the Rings is going to be something that I pop on at least once a year for the escape to the incredible, beautiful world of Middle-earth and the characters that fill it. Next, we have a movie I never would have expected to be on this list or even my top 10 favorite movies of all time, but every time I watch this movie, I love it more. I've already seen it twice this year, and I wouldn't be mad if I watched it a third time. We have RRR. If you know and have been following me for any amount of time, like The Lord of the Rings, I always recommend checking out this movie if you've not seen it before. It's an Indian blockbuster that came out a couple of years ago. I think it was a couple of years ago. I don't know. I've seen this movie 4 or 5 times already, and I love it more every single time. It's one of the most entertaining films I have ever seen. It literally has something for everyone. It's got the romance, it's got the drama, it's got the action, it's got the comedy. It's all there, and it's fantastically crafted and well done. This is one of my favorite movies to recommend to people. I had the opportunity to show it to some friends for the first time, and it was my first time getting to watch it with other people, and I really enjoyed that experience as well. Just getting to look over and see their reactions in real time to the film was an absolute joy to me. So this movie is one that I will watch at least once a year, every single year, and one of my highest recommendations. Next, we have my go-to comfort movie. That is Sing Street. This movie I will definitely pop on at least once a year. I absolutely love the story for this one. The characters, the music is incredible. It's got that 80s vibe to it all as it takes place in the 80s, and it's just an homage to 80s culture, specifically with the music industry. And it's just a really good romantic kind of comedy drama that has amazing musical elements to it as well. This is my favorite movie to recommend to people, and one I will never hesitate to pop on. As I've mentioned, it's just my go-to comfort film. It fills me with all of the feelings of inspiration and joy that I'll ever need in a movie. Next, we have another two-parter, as with the Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2, which will eventually turn to a three-parter as will this one. We have the Spider-Verse movies. So I have, obviously for now, Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. Almost said Beyond. Beyond isn't here yet. But these movies are just pure Spider-Man joy for me. I absolutely love everything these movies represent about the character of Spider-Man. Obviously, I am a classic Spider-Man guy, so the Tobey Maguire ones are my favorite of the Spider-Man series. But I just can't I just can't stop watching these movies because they're absolutely beautiful to look at. The music is incredible. They're telling a really great story so far. I can't wait for part 3 to come out, whenever that is, in the next 3 years or so at this point, which I think we're going to be waiting. But these movies are incredible. They're not for everyone. I know there are people out there who don't like this interpretation of the character or the animation style for it. I get it. But for me, I absolutely love it. These are some of my favorite movies to pop on regularly. I've already seen multiple times each of these, and we'll definitely be checking these out once a year going forward. Next, I have a number of mini movies, so to speak. You know, I was talking about a lot of different holiday stuff and classics. We have all of the different holiday specials. So, you know, you got Frosty the Snowman, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Charlie Brown Christmas, Thanksgiving, Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, The Year Without a Santa Claus. Yeah, that's what that one is. All of these, obviously, I pop on every single year around the holidays. They're absolute classics of any age. They're timeless stories that I've loved introducing to my family and my kid now as he started growing up. He loves Frosty the Snowman, so I know he's already looking forward to watching that again come this Christmas. These movies are classics and absolutely timeless. I absolutely pop these on every single year. Lastly, we have the limited series, which is basically a movie when you put it all together, Over the Garden Wall. This is another one, just like Fantastic Mr. Fox. This ushers in the fall season for me, more specifically around Halloween and stuff. It's a really good fitting one to watch around Halloween season, but this is one I just checked out a couple of years ago for the first time and loved it, so it's definitely one that I want to revisit every year. I love the music for this one. The aesthetic just oozes with fall vibes, which is my personal favorite season of the year. There's so many fans of this one out there. I'm one of them. It's definitely one that I check out every single year. So those are my picks for movies and some series that I check out at least once a year, definitely every single year. Thank you again to Ben for recommending it inadvertently as an idea for a video, and I hope you've joined me down in the comments below with some of the films and series that you watch at least once a year. Thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. I will see you in the next one.